says that it's 95% subconscious and it's 5% conscious, but I would rather point it as 99% subconscious and 1% conscious.
Why do people get so scared when they hear the word hypnosis?
It's basically myths, because the way you are brought up from movies, books, and all, literature, it's been, taught as mind control. Somebody is going to hack your brain.
So can a person misuse hypnosis to control someone's brain?
Actually, no one can control anyone's mind unless and until they permit. People always have a confusion of what is a trauma. So, some people say that my anxiety is a trauma, depression is a trauma. So we have to differentiate what is it actually. The trauma is basically past. So the best part about hypnosis is the results are instant. So you don't have to tell him, wait for 1 month and see whether it goes. No.
Welcoming you all to the Booster Show, where real conversation meets real curiosity. Today, we are going to dive into the topic which is straight out of the movies, hypnosis. Have you ever wondered if someone could go through your brain and your subconscious mind and rewire your thoughts? Or is it all smoke in the mirrors? Let's find out with our today's guest, Lijo Jose, who is going to help us understand healing traumas and breaking addiction. So let's get started. Welcoming you, sir.
Thank you.
So, what exactly is subconscious mind and how is it different from the conscious mind?
So being a hypnotist, the major area where I work is with the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind, psychology says that it's 95% subconscious and it's 5% conscious, but I would rather point it as 99% subconscious and 1% conscious, because everything that you do, everything that your habits, your phobias, your traumas, everything which is in you, inside you, is inside your subconscious. The only 1% which I feel you do consciously is learning something for the very first time. For example, if I take the example of driving, when you learn driving for the very first time, it's a conscious activity, and then you take the information and then you put it into your subconscious. And whenever you want, you can recollect. So since the time we are born, all the informations, all the experiences, it's consciously you just attempt it consciously, you encounter it consciously, and then you take it to your subconscious, and whenever you want, you reproduce it.
Why do we often commit the same mistake or have the same patterns again and again, even though we want to change?
Yeah, for that I can give you a very simple example, like a story. Like, I'm coming your house for the very first time, and imagine uh, it's a barren land, or maybe it's a grassland. Okay, so first time when I'm coming to your home, I take a road. Okay, so first time, second time, third time, and then it becomes a way. Okay, the way comes up, and that becomes my pattern. So this is called as neural pathway. So I won't change, this is the only, but I have other options of going. So how you change your habits is you have to create a new neural pathway. So why we repeat our same patterns, habits, is because we are used to this same neural pathway. That this is the only way that I can reach there, but there are other ways also. So that's how you change neural pathways to form new habits.
How does visualization create real change through subconscious mind?
Okay, talking about visualization, I would rather talk much more about imagination. It's both the same. So anything and everything which is invented in the world is an output of, or is an outcome of imagination. For example, you like now right now we have smartwatches, right, where you get WhatsApp calls, or WhatsApp messages, voice calls. But what is the purpose of watch actually? It is to check your time. You know how it came, like it was in a James Bond movie where the scriptwriter, James Bond was stuck somewhere. So scriptwriter told James Bond is stuck somewhere, and he has no idea how to escape. So he's getting a call on his watch. This was long back. So, and he showed it to the director. So director told, what nonsense is this? Because watches, in that time we had analog watches. So what nonsense is this? Because people will say it is watch, right? How can he get a call? So the scriptwriter told, sir, it is James Bond, so we can exaggerate it to any level, people will believe. So that was just an imagination, but today it's a reality. The same with aircrafts, mobile phones. Uh, so visualization is the first thing, or imagination. If you ask me, imagination is good. Uh, yeah, it is. It is both, because you can use imagination to create a rocket as well as to create a nuclear bomb. So it's everything is a part of imagination. We are doing an interview right now. You imagined, I am here. So what you imagine will turn into a reality someday.
So, what are some common myths people believe about the subconscious mind?
I would rather point out that see, people doesn't know exactly what is the difference between conscious mind and subconscious mind. I would rather talk about hypnosis. You might have seen in movies, like it feels like it's a black magic, or it's something evil. It's totally scientific, and people have certain myths. Like if you go to an audience and if you give them a paper and tell them to write one word, which connects to your subconscious or hypnosis, they will write devil or black magic. But in fact, it's totally scientific, and it is your powerhouse. It's your store station where you get things. So nothing evil. It's totally scientific, and that is where you have to work more for your productivity, to get rid of your traumas, to clear your belief systems. So that is where you have to work.
So, with the help of hypnosis, how can one actually reprogram their subconscious mind?
Okay, we have conscious mind, we have subconscious mind, and as I told, all the informations are there in the subconscious. But there's a line between your conscious and subconscious mind, which is called the critical mind or the critical faculty. So once we 0 to 15 years, you form this critical mind. When you're a child, you don't have much critical mind, but as you grow up, the critical minds become thickens up, and it's very hard to enter your subconscious. For example, you are a Christian, or you're a Christian.
No, I'm a Hindu.
You are a Hindu. Okay, so if I tell you to become a Muslim, will you become a Muslim?
No.
No. Why? Because when I shoot the question, there is a see critical mind acts as a watchman. Okay, he will not allow me to enter your subconscious. So critical mind is the only thing which you have to cut to enter the subconscious. So in hypnosis, what we teach is to cut the critical mind and to enter the subconscious. In that way, you can reprogram your beliefs, thoughts, because everything is there. So once you cut the critical mind, go into the subconscious, through suggestions, you can alter or you can reprogram or re-engineer your brain.
But why do people get so scared when they hear the word hypnosis?
It's basically myths, because the way you are brought up from movies, books, and all, literature, it's been, uh, taught as mind control. Somebody is going to hack your brain. It's kind of hacking your brain, but you should always think in a positive sense where you can alter changes, get someone out of a depression, trauma, anxiety. So that's positive actually.
So, can a person misuse hypnosis to control someone's brain?
Actually, that's a myth. Actually, no one can control anyone's mind unless and until they permit. Okay, there's a myth like hypnosis is always connected to controlling minds, okay, hacking brains. You can hack it for a good purpose, and it only happens when the person is receptive. So it's up to a person. It's an agreement. So if a person is not in an agreement, it's not possible to there you can misuse it if you manipulate it in some other way, but you have to be a pro hypnotist for that.
So, can someone be stuck in hypnosis and have that same loop over and over again?
uh, many of them have the same doubt. If you go and tell someone, can I hypnotize you, that is the main fear that they have. So if I hypnotize you, imagine you are in a state of trance and you're just there, and if I have a cardiac arrest and I'm on the floor, so people say that what will happen to you, how will you wake up? So it's very simple, nothing will happen. Even if I have a cardiac arrest, I'm down, your brain will not get any suggestions. So finally you will see like what's happening, and you'll automatically open in 20 to 30 seconds or maybe a minute. So you will never get stuck in hypnosis.
So, is it true that only weak minded people can be hypnotized?
Again, a myth, a false statement, because hypnosis to happen, you need great focus, great imagination, great concentration. So only people with sharp minds can be hypnotized easily. Imagine if it's a kid, if I tell him to close his eyes, so he might be playing like this. This weak minded guy is just chilling around. So it won't happen. So you have to be very attentive, and your senses should be very sharp. So only sharp-minded people, a sharp-minded person can be hypnotized easily.
So, how can hypnosis actually help someone in quit smoking and relieve their stress or even overcome their phobias?
As I said, all the informations from your birth, from your childhood, all the situations, scenarios, experiences, all stored in your subconscious mind. So smoking, drinking is also a habit which you formed through your years, through your practices, experiences. So it goes to your subconscious mind, and it's very tough to take it out. That is a major problem that many of the people encounter. So what here happens is, when a hypnotherapist does a therapy, he cuts the critical mind, he gets into the subconscious, and he changes the programming, okay, which you cannot do with any pills or any medicines, because any issue, any trauma, drinking, smoking, you have to pluck it from the root. So once the root is cleared, the habit is also cleared. So that's in that way you can reprogram, change these habits.
So, do you have any good memories with changing somebody's life?
Actually, it was like 2 years back. There was a guy from Malappuram, Kerala. So he came. He was a psychology student. He came to our workshop. He wanted to study hypnosis, so he could only see up to 4 feet, only up to 4 feet. And Arvind Hospital, Coimbatore. So he used to go to checkups there. So doctor told, it's a nerve issue, nothing can be done. So we completed our workshop, and we gave him the certificate. So later on, he came to me. The people who have vision problem, their eyelids would be very heavy. It would be like this. So he told me that he has a inferiority complex. Like, sir, I just changed my that complex. So I made him sit, and I was giving him positive suggestions. But suddenly I felt like, why can't I try it? Like, I gave him a suggestion. When you open your eyes, you will be able to see till the end of the. You will be able to see everyone and also the end of the auditorium. So after the session, he woke up. He had a slight headache, but he could see everything without specs. And this is there in my Instagram also. I mean, the before and after thing. So it is just like a miracle. So even if you ask me, there are spiritual babas, pastors, where miracle healing happens. Hypnosis is one main reason for that to happen.
So, what are some surprising facts which people don't know about hypnosis?
Actually, in India, people are not much aware of hypnosis, because the moment we put a workshop, there are more than 1,000, 2,000 inquiries. But people joining will be 15, 20. It's because they always have a myth. So the people ask me, why should I learn hypnosis? I don't want to hypnotize anyone. So hypnosis is not about hypnotizing anyone or taking someone's brain in control. It's all about, if you ask me what is the superpower of hypnosis, it's taking your mind, taking your brain, your actions in control. So once you understand that, it is a superpower. So people need to be educated about this.
In what cases do psychologists or doctors recommend hypnotherapy?
In my opinion, or my experience, even doctors and psychologists are not aware of hypnosis or hypnotherapy, because many of the students who come to seek hypnosis, they are all doctors, psychologists. Initially, they come to see, check whether this is true or is it a scripted thing. But later on, so people are getting educated, and I guess more doctors, and because it's a tool for them also. Okay, because hypnosis is not just uh, uh, you know putting someone in sleep or something. A powerful person who is in authority, when he commands something, that becomes a hypnotic suggestion. So it's a helpful tool for doctors, psychologists, healers, everyone.
So, how can hypnosis actually help in trauma recovery?
Actually, people always have a confusion of what is a trauma. Okay, so some people say that my anxiety is a trauma, depression is a trauma. So we have to differentiate what is it actually. Okay, trauma is basically past, right? You cannot think about future trauma. Okay, future is anxiety, past is trauma. So majority of the people whom I have encountered with, or I have done therapy with, are people with childhood trauma. So why childhood trauma exists is because during childhood you don't have a critical mind. So the first experience that goes into your subconscious becomes your belief. Okay, if a girl had a bad experience with a guy when she was very small, or in her 8 9 10 years, or maybe in her teens, that becomes her programming, and later on she will find every man as a bad person. So such traumas, they have to be cleared not with medicines. Definitely in some cases you need medicines, but basic thing is to go to the root, change the programming. It's not like that. So it can be also called as perspective. It's a perspective change. So trauma is basically a perspective change.
Can someone use self hypnosis and is it safe?
Okay. uh, I was working with Air India as a cabin crew. I flew for around 18 years. So in Air India, what happens is they come for a weight check. Okay, so you need to be in your BMI. I was around 20 kilos excess, and suddenly there was a weight check, and the guy told me, the instructor who came, he told me that, "Bijo, you're overweight, 20 kilos. So you have to cut off your weight." You know why they cut the weight? Is because the more the weight, the more fuel consumption. So they asked us to cut our weight, and I was gone 40 days time. So it was tough because how much can you do? Anyways, you're gonna run, jog, exercise, but still you'll eat food. So what I did is something called self hypnosis. Self hypnosis is nothing but giving auto suggestions or giving yourself self programming. There's a way to do it. So the suggestions which I gave to myself was, I will not have fried items, sugar, the things which put on weight. And I gave one more suggestion, like I'll wake up in the morning at 5:30, I'll go for jogging. So best part about this is you don't have to put an effort. So if you offer me a chocolate, I would say automatically my brain would say no. 5:30 automatically I wake up, I go for jogging. So 20, 40 days, I did, I think 30 or 36 days, I cleared my weight check.
So you used it for your own experience. Could you give the general public some tips? How should one actually start for a beginner?
Yeah, there's a very easy tip. Majority of the people know it, but I don't know how properly or how technically correctly they're doing it. The moment you're going to bed, do you sleep right then and there? No, you don't. There is a mystery time, and there is a golden period of time where you're automatically, your subconscious is on and you're going into a trance, and then you go to sleep. So before going to the sleep, I would recommend you take your mobile phone. You just record 3 or 4 good suggestions which you need. No, it is subjective. It's people to people. So what you need, record positive suggestions, put it in a loop, keep headphones, and then go for sleep. So once you are into the sleep, you go into an altered state where your subconscious is open. It hears everything. So 2 3 days, if you do it continuously, this becomes your programming. The best example is like you're going to bed, you want to wake up at 5 in the morning. What you do, you take your mobile phone, you keep the alarm at 5 o'clock. And if you are a religious or a spiritual person, or if you have an inner talk, habit, you say that, oh, I want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you would be surprised that morning 4:55 you wake up and there is 5 minutes to alarm. So who woke you up? So that is a simple example of self-programming, but it can be done in detail if you follow the right steps. As I said, the moment you sleep, if the moment you're in bed, you're not going to sleep, but there's a golden time where the subconscious mind is on. At that time, give suggestions. So that's why when you are on the bed, you cannot give your oral suggestions. So that's why you need to record it, and then you keep headphones, sleep. The programming is done.
So, could you tell us the difference between the beginner's level, what they can try themselves, and also when do they actually need a hypnotherapist?
So basically, I learned hypnosis during the time of COVID. Okay, I was around 35. So the biggest regret I have is like, what if I could have learned it 20 years back? My life would have been something different. So I would recommend people to bring up their children, educate their children about hypnosis, so that they don't have a mental trauma. They can fix their trauma themselves, and they learn more about the subconscious. They learn more about themselves. So that is the best way one can start their first step into hypnosis. It's better to train the teens or the children and later on they can handle themselves. Because the moment where I am right now, after learning hypnosis, my life has gone to a drastic change where I can handle things on my own. So
So, what's your subconscious mind really doing when we are scrolling phones around 2 a.m.?
that depends. The content what you're watching. See, actually, as I told, when you're about to sleep or when you're sleepy, you are already in an altered state. So it goes directly into your subconscious, and that becomes your program. That's why parents tell children don't watch horror movies in the night, because yeah, it's there's no issue watching, but the information, if you're in a slight trance or you're in a medium trance, in a sleepy mode, the information directly goes to your subconscious, and that might become as a programming. And this guy or girl, he might have fear of entering dark rooms. They might encounter hallucinations, auditory hallucinations, visual hallucinations, where nothing is there, but the subconscious is already programmed with these informations.
So, what's the difference between hypnosis, meditation, and mindfulness?
Hypnosis, meditation, and mindfulness, these three are amazing tools anyone can have. Meditation is where you focus on something. Some people say that you have to be you have to concentrate on something. Nothing like that. You're just sitting, you're allowing your body to completely relax, you're taking breaths. Whatever is happening, you have to observe. Just observe, and just be like a, you're a third person, you're getting out of your body and just observing. The only thing about hypnosis, a difference between hypnosis and meditation is, in meditation also you reach a trance state, but there is no one to give you a suggestion. Hypnosis, you cross that meditation state, and then you get the suggestions, and that suggestions become your reality. Mindfulness is what, if we are doing this interview, my entire focus is in what you are asking and what I'm answering. So if you're drinking a cup of tea, you just enjoy that tea. Your focus is 110% on the tea. So that is mindfulness. You do something, the entire focus is there, and it will give you a good productivity as well.
What should someone expect from their first hypnosis session?
Is it a therapeutic or hypnosis?
Yeah, the hypnosis session. What would someone
Hmm.
expect from their first hypnosis session?
It depends on what is their need. Some come for habit change, some come for a trauma release, some come to just relax. And trance, when you get hypnotized, you go into a state of trance. Some get addicted to trance because it's a beautiful feeling. Like people who meditate, they know it. So it depends on their needs, what they actually need.
So, is hypnosis suitable for everyone, or are there some kind of or some category of people who shouldn't try it?
Basically, hypnosis, anyone can try it, but being a hypnotist, you have certain responsibilities: whom to hypnotize, whom not to. For example, doing stage and street hypnosis, you cannot go to the road and you cannot hypnotize a pregnant woman, people with epilepsy, or if a person has implants, or if a person has a cardiac issue. So these are certain areas where you have to be conscious while doing it.
So, could you tell us about the power of emotional intelligence over IQ and decoding the law of attraction?
See, I've seen people attending a lot of courses regarding law of attraction. Law of attraction is it's nothing, For me, it's basically, subconscious is like a hard drive. You put the information, the brain will search for it. So for me, that is law of attraction. You have seen ad of a new Tata Safari. You go to the Tata showroom. You don't have to buy the Tata Safari. You just book the Tata Safari, and the moment you come out, you see the same model, and you realize there was so much of this model which is out, but you're not conscious of. So it's just like information put in your subconscious. The subconscious will work for you. You will attract what you want, just like an AI.
So, if we take an example of a smoker, how long does it take to see results for him using the hypnosis therapy?
Okay. So the best part about hypnosis is the results are instant. Okay, you don't have to tell him wait for 1 month and see whether it goes. No, it is instant. So there's one more thing. Like if a person is coming to me to stop smoking, what I do is I give him a therapy, and after the therapy, like I don't cut the smoking full and on, because if he's smoking 25 cigarettes, I will cut it to 10, then to 5, then so you have multiple sessions. The moment he stops it completely, So some people ask me, is it done? No, he will not smoke. So it's not like that. He will not smoke. But if he goes to the previous company, his friend's company, and if he again gets that nicotine starvation, there is a chance that he can again smoke. So I advise him, when you get that feeling, come back again for a session. So there's a principle like first is an accident, second is a pattern, and third is a habit. So accidentally he stopped smoking. If you patronize it, it becomes a habit, and later on, even if you force him, he will not smoke.
Right. So there are basically three stages.
Right.
Are the effects long lasting or do they fade over time?
Hypnotherapy basically, it's again mind reprogramming. Okay, so it's all about your mind. It's not pure. You cannot confirm it that it has gone completely, because your mind can change anytime. It is called neuroplasticity. You adopt some changes right now. When you feel you want to change, you can change it. So it's not like you will be fixed in that programming or something like that. There are chances of changing according to your wish. It's all personal stuff.
So, what kind of training do professional hypnotherapists go through?
Training, huh?
Hmm.
So it depends from country to country.
Okay. So,
uh,
could you tell us a little about how the Indian hypnotherapists are trained?
Actually, in India, there are no rules for hypnosis. For hypnotherapy, definitely yes, you need to have a master's in psychology, and also you have RC approved therapist. Okay, but to do stage hypnosis, street hypnosis, and to help a friend, it's okay. But why you need a proper certification is to safeguard yourself, because tomorrow if something happens, you have to be, safeguard yourself. So you need a certification for that.
And where is it done in India?
As per my knowledge, there's only one university where you get properly certified. That's from University of Baroda. You have many private places where you can learn hypnosis. So even there are, in abroad, you have UK, US, you have American Hypnosis Association, many other, Indonesian Hypnosis Association.
So, what exactly is NLP and how would you explain it to someone who's never heard of it?
Okay, I would combine both NLP and hypnosis, so that you get a clarity on what NLP is, what hypnosis is. NLP is a tool, developed during the 1970s and all. So Richard Mandler, they took, and his one of his friend, they took the techniques from Milton Erickson, and they formed something called neuro linguistic programming. But the fact is that hypnosis comes in scientific. Hypnosis is termed as scientific, but NLP still comes under pseudoscience. But there are many good techniques in NLP. Basically, what I have found it is like NLP works with a person with low critical mind. Okay, well, for example, simple example if I can give, when you were a kid, or sorry, if you have a kid and the kid is falling down and something has hurt him, you don't go and apply medicines initially. You just go there and say that your pain is gone. Okay, it's gone through the window, and no, it's paining. So baby will say no, no, it's gone. So it's because it doesn't have a critical mind. So the same thing has been followed in NLP, where you use metaphors or stories or things like this, where your subconscious believes that it's gone. It's a very good tool, but for me, it works basically with people with very low critical mind.
So, how does a businessman get the benefit of hypnotist therapy?
For me, business is hypnosis, because what is hypnosis? You make the other person uh, come in an agreement, and if you're selling something, you're making the other person buy it, which is already a hypnosis. So business is already hypnotic, and how it benefits businessmen is to take decisions. They can take correct decisions. The subconscious will give the right time and the right moment to act at anything. And usually with businessmen, when they start something new, they always have a fear, will this thing become successful? This is because of a mental block. Okay, because he might have seen experience of others, or maybe he had a self experience which is not allowing him to go for that new venture. So if you go for a hypnosis therapy, or if you know about hypnosis, or if you know about your subconscious mind, you yourself can cut off that limiting belief system, which will help you in which will help you in your growth. So that's how hypnosis, business is hypnosis. I'll give you one more example. um, See, when I was a kid, there was TV ads where you see Preeti Zinta, he's taking she was on a lake and she's singing, dancing, going here and there. And I'm not observing the product, but the next time when I go to a supermarket or a shop, I'll directly go and take the soap Little, so which is a subliminal influence. It is called subliminal messaging as well. So in hypnosis, many things can be done in hypnosis, because ultimately you are making the other person, take your suggestions, to sell your products. So it's a mega business tool.
So, when we talk about kids, at what age should kids actually start taking the hypnotist therapy, and should parents have a knowledge about it?
So basically, I would say the parents should have the knowledge initially, and to do a therapy, there is no age limits. There is no age limit, because if a kid has of 8 years has an issue, you have to deal with it, right? But the stage and street hypnosis, where you do things for fun, that should be restricted, because you change the name, you change the number, you hallucinate them. So being, as I said, the kids have a very less critical mind. Whatever you say is going to your subconscious. So even if you do some fun, if you tell that kid, like, for fun we change names and all, you won't be able to remember your name. This might become a lifelong programming. So stage and street hypnosis, restrict them by 12 to 15 years. Therapeutic thing, you have to do it. Okay, and as I said, self hypnosis should be taught to every kid, so that in life, whenever the kid needs it, he can use this for his betterment.
So, what's anchoring, and how can one use it to shift our emotional states?
Anchoring is a very important tool. For example, if you have seen the film Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, the climax scene is basically anchoring, where they are in a bullfight, and they have three things to change, but they say that only if this thing happens, I will change that, where they are anchoring something, one emotion, to that bullfight. So you might have seen people where, if you are playing a song right now, I would say, don't play that song, I'm not comfortable, because I have a past experience with my girlfriend, or kind of people are there who connect. We all connect things, right? So anchoring is a very important tool when used positively. So during examinations, we give them a examination hack. If you have difficulty in learning some subjects, we tell them to get a perfume, okay, which is not common. Apply the perfume, and then you study, and then you keep the perfume away. And when it comes to exam, that particular subject, take the perfume again, apply it, go to the exam, and write the answers will flow automatically, because you have anchored uh,
The
all the subject
fragrance.
with that perfume when you studied it, and when you are again smelling it, you are getting it back. So that is basically anchoring. So anchoring can be positive and negative. You, as I said, you can anchor negative emotions also, which will obviously, it's bad for you. So always anchor good things.
Right.
You have seen people with holding mudras also when they speak. So it's basically, it's anchoring. If I anchor this finger, this is something else. So it is just like a switch. So it can be a physical anchoring, it can be mental anchoring, it can be a olfactory anchoring, where you can is associated with smell.
Now, let's play the fun fire questions. Let's get started. So, hypnosis, is it a mind control or a myth buster?
It's a myth buster.
Right. NLP, a life hack or brain magic?
Brain magic.
What's one weird thing that your subconscious mind keeps telling you?
Don't do it.
Can you hypnotize your crush?
Possible.
So, one word to describe the power of mind.
Superpower.
Hypnosis on stage, cringe or cool?
Cool.
So, what's the wildest NLP trick that people have told you about?
It should be a reframing and dissociation.
Can thoughts lie to you?
Times.
One belief you're currently reprogramming.
I will be successful.
Subconscious mind, more like a library or a jungle?
It's a jungle.
Would you rather erase a fear or master a skill?
I would master skill.
If you had the magic mind remote, what would you pause?
Laziness.
You have to finish this sentence. My mind is my.
Temple.
So, one final thought. What should people do to control their mind?
Actually, I have seen a Instagram reel where a person says that uh, from an orange, only orange juice will come. So you have to equip yourself, update yourself, and make yourself more informative about your subconscious. That's the only way you can be, focused on what you're doing, your thoughts, and that's how. And one more thing, you have to cut off your beliefs in order to get more informations. So the more good informations, the more knowledge about your subconscious, the more you are in control of your mind.
Mind officially blown? Same here. Hypnosis is not about just swinging watches and deep sleepy eyes. It's more understanding your brain, which is a powerful tool. So, I hope this episode has given you some useful tips. Until next time, do share this episode with someone who might like it. Also, do subscribe to our channel. Bye bye. Take care.